This video lesson is a presentation of My English Professor at YouTube. I am Nuala Mary Lincke, aka Nunu, your friendly teacher guide. Let's begin our lesson. Frequently asked questions, FAQs, about modern language association, MLA format, and the essay. Let's begin our lesson. Our first question, what's Modern Language Association MLA format? MLA format is a rule system that standardizes the way essays look and how sources are presented and documented in an essay. Most English classrooms in the U.S. use MLA format, and we will be using MLA format in this classroom. Moving on, our next question. What does the first page of an MLA essay look like? Here's what the first page of an MLA essay looks like. In the upper corner, we have the essay writer's first and last name, the teacher's name, the course title, and the day, the month, and the year, with no punctuation marks between the day, the month, and the year. One double space down, we center the essay title and capitalize it appropriately, and another double space down, we begin the essay. The essay is double spaced on white 8.5 by 11 typing paper. The font is Times New Roman, size 12, and the type color is black. Margins are 1 inch on all sides. The first line of every paragraph is indented 5 spaces or 1 tab. Now, what are you going to do if you're in an online course? You can't submit an essay on 8.5 by 11 typing paper. What you will do is you'll observe all MLA format rules that you can in the electronic medium of an online course. And that is how you will observe MLA format. There are lots of rules you can follow, just not submitting a paper, an actual paper. It will be electronic. Okay. Moving on. What do the other pages of an MLA essay look like? Here's what they look like. On every page after the first page, there's a header in the upper right corner. It contains the last name of the essay writer and the page number. Word can make the header for you. In the top menu in Word, click on Insert and then on Header. And we have an example of the header here. Like the front page, the second and succeeding pages of the essay are double-spaced on white 8.5 by 11 typing paper. The font is Times New Roman, size 12, and the type color is black. Margins are 1 inch on all sides. The first line of every paragraph is indented 5 spaces or 1 tab. Okay, moving on, our next question. Is there a reference page at the end of the essay? Yes, it's called the works cited. It's an alphabetized double-spaced list of all people and organizations used in the essay in Times New Roman font size 12, and the type color is black. The people and organizations listed are called citations. After the first line of each citation, there is a hanging indent. All lines are indented 5 spaces. A works cited looks like this, but usually includes more citations. Okay, so here we see a citation, and the first line is flush with the left margin, but all the other lines are indented 5 spaces, and this is a hanging indent. Okay, let's move on to our next question. How will I learn to create a works cited? You will learn some details about how to create works cited citations in the classroom. However, you will learn most details by being an autodidact, a person who can teach him or herself effectively via study. What kind of person is that? Aha, it's a student. Well, how will you do so? How will you be an autodidact? How do you begin the study process? You will consult a good Modern Language Association MLA online writing lab called an OWL, such as Purdue's MLA OWL. You will also use websites like Works Cited For You, which generates free citations, and Paste Library databases, which contain ready-made citations for most database sources. So you'll need to get on the computer and study and become an autodidact. The works cited can be very detailed, and that's why you will not learn most citations in the classroom. You will be directed to become an autodidact and study. All right, let's move on. Our next question. MLA essays are usually college-level essays, right? What's a college-level essay? It is not a 5-paragraph essay, so it is not a 1 to 3 page writing that contains 5 paragraphs that are all the same size. It is usually a few to several pages in length and has a variety of differently sized paragraphs. And the purpose of a paragraph, what you are doing inside a paragraph, decides how long the paragraph will be. To learn more about a college-level essay, you can access this link here. Moving on, because the college level essay is a whole made up of parts and has a beginning, middle, and end, an essay is also called a composition. When you're in an English class, you're really in a writing composition class. Well, why do we call writing composition classes English classes? Because writing composition is a big mouthful, so we go with English. Okay, moving on. Our next question. What's the job of a college-level essay? The job of a college-level essay is to support a thesis, your overall opinion about an essay topic, and rebut, argue against, or counter the antithesis, the opposite opinion of your thesis. Our next question, how do I support a thesis and counter an antithesis? You support the thesis, your opinion about the essay topic, by presenting information about why the thesis, your opinion, is plausible, believable, and valid, true. In the process, you present and counter, rebut, argue against the most convincing arguments of the antithesis, the opposite opinion of your thesis. To do so, you quote and paraphrase all 3 of these kinds of sources in an essay whenever possible. 1, expert opinions, what authoritative, trustworthy people and organizations say or write in relation to some aspect of the essay topic. 2, data, facts, statistics, and surveys. And 3, anecdotal evidence, personal stories and accounts of people and organizations' experiences that are relevant, meaningful, related to the essay topic. Okay, moving on, our next question. What's a source? A source is a person, people, or organization that authors a text or writing that you quote or paraphrase in an essay to support the thesis. Moving on to our next question. An organization can author a text? Huh? Well, a person or people write the text, but they work for an organization, and the organization is credited as the official author. Moving on to our next question. Remind me what quoting and paraphrasing mean? Let me show you. Below are passages from a source text writing that are quoted and paraphrased. Because we are pressed for time in this video, I'm going to ask you to pause the video and to read this quote from a newspaper article, and then to read it as a paraphrased passage from the newspaper article. I will move on to our next question, and when you're ready, catch up with me, start the video again. Our next question, can you show me an example of supporting a thesis and rebutting or countering an antithesis with different sources? Let's go to the next screen where there's an example. Our thesis will be, A lot of politicians seem to fight for fair pay for elementary, middle school, and high school teachers, but in reality, do little or nothing to make sure these teachers are adequately compensated for their hard work in the classroom. Okay, moving on. Here is our text on the screen, and because we are pressed for time, I'm going to ask you to pause the video and to read this on your own, and when you're ready, start the video again and catch up with me. Now I'll continue. A parenthetical citation, information in parentheses that helps to identify an author and/or location of a quote or paraphrased passage in a text. And these are parenthetical citations here that we see in parentheses. Parenthetical citations for organizations contain the title of the text in quotation marks. If the title is too long, use only keywords. I changed the last parenthetical citation from teacher compensation, fact versus fiction, to teacher compensation. And here it is here. And a word of advice, you must understand what you read. Words in this essay to look up if you don't know them are 1, cynical, 2, naive, and 3, paradoxical. Okay, moving on. Our next question. If an author of a quote or paraphrase passage is a person, how is a parenthetical citation written? Let me show you. Again, I'm bringing up this text and I'm going to ask you to read it on your own, to pause the video, and I'm going to continue. When you're ready, restart the video and catch up with me. A parenthetical citation for a quote or paraphrase passage that a person authors has the author's last name in it, but only if the author is not identified in the essay, as in this quote below and this parenthetical citation. And here are some questions and answers about parenthetical citations that I'm also going to ask you to read on your own as we are pressed for time. And I will ask you to pause the video and do so, and then restart the video when you're ready to catch up with me. Moving on. So remind me again, what's quoting and paraphrasing? A quotation or quote is what an author writes verbatim, word for word in a text. When you paraphrase what an author writes, you put a quote into your own words like this. And again, I'm going to ask you to pause the video because we are pressed for time and read how I've turned these quotes from 2 books into paraphrased passages. And I have information here to help you about the citations. And let me mention very quickly that we use parenthetical citations because we must credit the source. Credit the source, use parenthetical citations. When you do not practice proper attribution, use parenthetical citations, you plagiarize. Plagiarism can result in academic penalties. All right, moving on. This video lesson has been about frequently asked questions, FAQs, about modern language association MLA format in the essay. What to review next in My English Professor at YouTube. How to format short quotes and block quotes. How to use the ellipsis and brackets to omit unnecessary words from quotes and make the content of quotes what they mean, clear and read well. This video has been a presentation of My English Professor at YouTube. I am Nuala Mary Lincke, aka Nunu, your friendly teacher guide. I hope this lesson has been useful to you.